you're with me on Friday afternoon live. That's absolutely lovely. I was just wrapping up my pin cushion. I still haven't attached it to this machine I'm using, because this machine I'm using today I don't use very much, so I'm having it loose on my desk, and as you can imagine all my ribbons get sort of in the way a little bit. So I was just wrapping it up to get it out the way, and I was just admiring it. It's been with me a long time now. I'm glad you're all well. Well, I hope you're all well. I haven't said, are you well? Are you well? I hope you are. We are going to be making Beatrice this afternoon, just for an hour. And Beatrice is this beautiful beach hut pouch, which was one of my Making It Monday projects. And it's been an absolute firm favourite, it really has. Hi Gemma. And lots and lots of them have been made, and it was only about 10 minutes ago I thought, well, I wonder where mine is. But I think what I've done, because I collect, obviously I collect so many of things that I've made, so I'm pretty sure it's in a box in the garage. Either that or I might have sold it. I sold, when we went to La La Land last year, I took lots of things. I'm wondering if I'd made it actually by last year. I'm not sure. I'd have to look back on the dates. Well, maybe it's in the garage, but anyway, whatever the case, that's what we're going to make this afternoon. Now obviously I've got it to make up, but you don't have to make it up with me. You can just enjoy an hour of chit chat, and no doubt I shall manage to do that. So let's have a look. We're in the hi Lizzie, this is from Sue. She says she's in the middle of making a Black Forest gatto. You can go off, people, can't you? How lovely. Black Forest gatto. Gosh, it's been years since I had one of those. How lovely. Anyway, we will crack on and start making Beatrice. It's a really lovely pouch. And although you can see on the front, I'd have shown you the real one if I'd have thought about it earlier and found it. But you could, if you wanted to, do the back the same as the front. I'm just doing the front as per the pattern to just put the little beach huts on, and we're just making a little flying geese unit onto the beach hut base, and of course you can use your scraps of fabric. Now when we make the flying geese, you're either going to do 3 all the same, or you're going to swap your fabrics around, and if you swap your fabrics around it can be quite wasteful, so I'll just give you a little heads up with that. But as we're using just throwaway waste really, it's, you know, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I would just enjoy the process, and I've got different roofs on my beach huts, but all my beach bottoms are the same. But of course you can mix and match, can't you? You can have what you like. So so thanks for joining me. There's lots of people joining me this afternoon. We've got Shirley and Eileen, Maggie, Jill. We've got Chris as well. Oh, I suppose it's sort of just early morning for you, Chris, isn't it? We've got Sue and Jerry as well. Jerry said she made her Beatrice last summer when she was at her beach home. Very appropriate. Well, yeah, absolutely. Gosh, couldn't be any better, could it? Hi Judy, hi Karen, hi Rosina. Hi everybody, thank you for joining me. I don't expect lots of people to join me, as it's a Friday afternoon and some people have got better things to do, and although it's raining, it's absolutely pouring down here. Just looking through my skylights and it's pretty grotty, so it's not a bad afternoon to stay in and do some stitching. So I've got all my bits and bobs handy. I've done a little bit of preliminary work just so it doesn't take so long. I've got my reading glasses so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. And I'll just put you on the overhead so we can have a quick look at what I've got on my desk. So I've got a zip, and obviously this is far too long. I just happened to cut some off of a roll. I've got a beach hut to make, so I'm using this stripy fabric, and I've got, these are my zip tabs. Okay, all the dimensions and all the cutting instructions are in the pattern. It's actually a really good comprehensive pattern and incredibly cheap. Hold on, whose birthday is it? What's it? Da, 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 da. Oh, Sue, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. How lovely. Oh yeah, of course, Wimbledon is on, isn't it? How lovely. Yes, so if you're a Wimbledon fan, well, you can also watch this later. Right, okay, so there's the roof that I'm going to use, or the square that I'm going to use for the roof. And there's my little squares to make my flying geese. And like I said just a moment ago, it can be quite wasteful, but we'll make one up. And I've got some that I've got made earlier that I can use for other projects. I've already made 2 of the little beach huts up, just so we've got a little bit of a head start on things. And so all I've got to do is add on the other little bit of sashing here, and then the end piece like that to the end of the piece of patchwork. So we're going to do the little bit of patchwork first. It looks nice, doesn't it? I'm quite happy with it. And I've got a beautiful piece of linen light fabric, which is just lovely. So hello to Eileen and Jeanette, and to Cheryl. Oh, Abby is watching as well. Yes, happy birthday to Sue. How lovely. So let me just pop that there so you can see what that looks like. And then we've got bottom and top pieces for the front, because obviously we make the patchwork piece up and then we join the top and we join the bottom like that, and then we use our template to cut out the bag pattern. And these are the pieces that add on to the end of there, so I'll pop them there. Get quite a heap now. I've got my lining cut out, and this is Lewis and Irene, Cassandra Connolly. It's her husband that does the Doughties road shows around our way, at least, and she's the artiste behind this collection, which obviously I can't remember the name of, but it's Cassandra Connolly. And she does some beautiful work, and I think she's very much, her colours are very much like Lynette Anderson, actually. They're all very muted tones. So yeah, so that's the pattern, that's the lining. Then this is our back piece here. I've already stabilised it with some H250, which is a medium weight iron-on stabiliser, and I have allowed it to cool, so you can see it's lovely and flat. If you use it while it's still hot, sometimes it wrinkles up a little bit, so sometimes it's better to leave it to cool. And then we've got the pattern itself, which of course I shall need for when I cut the front out, when we've completed the front. So we've got everything we need to make up Beatrice. So I'm just going to pop all my bits to one side. I'll pop that away and that away. We'll make up the little bit of patchwork first. And I'll just pop the mat over there as well. And I'm going to keep my pattern close by, just so I know what I'm doing, which is always useful. But you forget. I mean, this is, I don't know, this is well over a year old, so it's just making sure that I remember the sequence, if you like. So I'll pop it over there so I can see it. Okay. Hi, Anne. Oh, Anne says, hi, I love watching you create beautiful things. Well, thank you very much, Anne. I don't mind making them either, so win-win. Right, well, so we'll pop those bits to one side, we'll come back to them. So we're going to concentrate on our beach huts. I don't quite need that at the moment. So to create our little flying geese, we take the big square and we place our 2 little squares on the top. So corner to corner, and if you want to, you can get a pin and you can pop a pin in. Now you're going to be drawing some lines here, guys, so you might want to pop your pin just out of the way, but just enough to keep it all in one place, basically. So that's it. We then need a pen and a ruler. Now my lovely old sewing machine, which is my Bernina 1008, it doesn't have a 1/4 inch foot, or at least I haven't got a 1/4 inch foot. So I shall be drawing on my lines just to make sure I keep within the limits. So there's my centre line. Now I'm going to put my 1/4 inch dotted line just on the top, but to the sort of left of the line a bit, because the pen mark will make your 1/4 inch slightly bigger if you're not careful, so do be careful with when you're drawing on lines. And now this side, our pins will probably get in the way, but we'll do our best. So again, I'm putting the dotted line of the 1/4 inch just on the left hand side of that drawn line, and likewise when I stitch I should be stitching just on the inside of the line. Okay, I mean it's hardly anything, but when you're dealing with something this small it needs to be accurate, or at least if you do a sort of very scant 1/4 inch seam and you know what that looks like on your machine, then do that, and then you can always cut it down. So there's my little piece. So I'm going to stitch either side of that line, that centre line that I drew, and keep it on about a 2.5 stitch, something like that. 2.4, some machines default to that. This is a very old mechanical one, so I just have to move the dials here and it's not that accurate, but crikey, I'm not in any sort of competitive mode today, so I don't need to worry about that. So just inside that penned line is always good, and I'm going to just switch my iron on so I'm ready to iron, and then we can take it off the machine. Ooh, come on guys, that's it. And just take our threads, just snip all those. If you've got a modern machine with a thread cutter, then that's great, it does it all for you. But this old machine here, well, I'd be lucky. Well, actually, I've got the thread cutter there, but I mean the automatic cutter there. Okay, I'm just going to zoom you in just a wee bit, see if I can reach up to my camera, because you're a little way away. So I'm going to try and bring you in a bit more. There we go, that's a little bit better. Okay, so as you can see, that's what I've stitched. So I'm just going to cut that up the middle there. I'd just use your scissors, I wouldn't bother with a rotary cutter, but you can if you want. Now you can trim these seams back if you want. So I only want one. So we have 2 halves, and in the pattern it shows you what you do next, but I don't want that half, so that when I say you get some waste, you end up getting really 4 flying geese, and really you only want 1 particularly. But when I look at my fabrics, this half is so much more interesting, because this would be the centre of my roof. So I'm going to choose that bit when we come to it. So I'm going to take that one away, and then I'm just going to iron my little piece here. Okay. So if we set the seam, always good to do that, and then you want to push those little ears out, if you like. So just push them away. Just be careful you don't stretch it too much. It'd be easy to do that. And then you're left with that funny little shape there. And try not to get any creases and folds. And then what we need to do is we need to pick up another one of those little squares that we started off with, and that goes right in that corner there. Okay, and again you can pin it if you want to, just to hold it in place. I'll just keep it there for a moment, and you're going to draw from that corner there to that corner there, so exactly what we did before. And you're going to do this 3 times, but of course, like I just said, you actually create 4 flying geese with this method, so all of your roofs could be the same, and then you don't waste anything. Well, you do waste one flying goose, a goosette. Yeah, so it's up to you. I wanted 3 roofs different, so that's what I've got. Okay, so there's my lines. You can see what they look like, and I'm now going to stitch down those 2 outer lines there. I'm sure you've done this before, and just to make sure that stays in place, I'm just going to pop a pin either side just to hold those pieces out of the way. You can see what that looks like. Good. So, is anybody stitching along this afternoon? Hello, Mary from Spain. Now, is it super duper hot or has it cooled off yet? I know you were having temperatures of close to 40 degrees. Somebody somewhere said it was getting up to 45 or even 48, which would be absolutely horrid. But yeah, so let us know what the temperatures. Oh, I'm going to look at me. I'm stitching on that sideline there. Oh yeah, that's what I want to do. Oh, I'll forget my brain if it wasn't encased. That's because I'm concentrating on the heat. It's freezing here, 16 degrees here. Abigail says it's just 2 hours before she picks up her Sebby. He's been to like what do they call it, like a end of term camp. And oh, Jill says she's trying to stitch along. Good. I'm not going fast, Jill, but obviously I've only got the one. What is this so stiff? I've only got the one beach hut to do, but I am going slowly. So there, there are my 2 stitch lines. And so all I need to do is cut up the middle. I've got a jump stitch there. So I just need to cut up the centre. And you can, like I say, you can trim those back if you want to. So once again, I've got 2 flying geese units there. And when I looked at the one half of it just a moment ago, one had a lovely rose right in the centre. There we are. That's the one I'm going to use. So you can see I've got a lovely little unit there, so that just needs a press. So I'll put that other one to one side now. So you could say that was quite wasteful, but you know what? I don't think it is. But you could make the back the same as the front, and then you can use them that way. So Mary says it's cooled a bit, but expected to go up again over the weekend. I'd enjoy 16 degrees at the minute. Yeah, it's a funny old thing, isn't it? I always say the same when it's absolutely roasting hot. Oh, just give me snow. I love it. And actually, I don't love it. I don't love it. But I don't like those extreme temperatures. There we go. Lovely little flying geese unit. Now I'm going to cut off my little overhangs there. You don't have to, because we do end up trimming this. But I just like to keep things neat. Okay, let's just get rid of those bits and pieces off my mat. So there's my little unit. Doesn't it look sweet? So you've got your beach hut front there. So we're going to put right sides together. Now you'll find that your little flying geese unit is slightly smaller than that. But we're going to trim it down anyway, so that's perfectly fine. Oh, it's Heike. Is it Heike? From Germany. Oh, welcome. Oh, lovely. Both my girls were born in Germany. Yeah, they are British, but they were born in Germany. Lots of the forces people out there. Right, so we're just going to do right sides together, and we're just going to stitch along here. 1/4 inch seam allowance again, and like I say, if you're not very confident with your seam allowances, then do draw a line, but when you stitch on the seam side or the raw edge side of that drawn line. Okay, it does make a difference, but I'm just going to guess it, as in guesstimate it. There we go. Right, so I'm going to cut my threads, and there's my little unit done. So we just need to press it again, and now we need to trim it down. So I'll just push my machine away, and it's really good to press everything at every stage. It makes a huge difference with the accuracy of things, and also it looks nice. And also, if you've got some best press or some sew flat from Abigail, then please use that. If you might want to spray your fabrics beforehand and get your fabric already. It's almost like starched, isn't it? Okay, so there's my little beach hut. So now we have to trim it down. Okay, so I've got my rotary cutter. Now we hardly want anything off of this top edge here, and the top edge is far more important than anything else on here, to be honest. Obviously we've got to be careful of these sides because we want that 1/4 inch mark there, so when we do stitch all these things together we have proper points. But I wouldn't worry too much. So if I put my 1/4 inch mark there, I mean gosh, that's not even a hair's breadth, look. Nothing. Oh dear. So the other thing I'm going to do is to cut this to size. So I'm just going to put this on the marker here and trim off the bottom. So that's the length cut. I'm going to say it's all in the pattern. And then because I know what this width is across here, I'm going to halve it on my ruler here and pop the middle of that onto my point, which is about there. So this little unit is not far off. So we're only taking just minute pieces off, but it does make a difference if everything is really super accurate. Okay, lovely. So that's our unit cut. Just trim that little bit there. Okay. So now we've got our perfect little beach hut. Pop our mat out of the way. So now we've got 3 little beach huts all in a row, and you've got these joining pieces. So you've got one piece that goes between those two, and you've got one piece that goes on the end. And they're all cut to size. There's nothing you need to do to trim those back. So if we're going to join this piece to that, this piece to that, and then this piece to that. Okay, so we'll do that now, and then we'll give it a nice good press. So you just need to work along the row of little houses to join them all together. So there's my 2, and I'm just getting the little strip. So you do need that accuracy now to put that strip on. And stick to your 1/4 inch seam allowance if you can. Or it's always better to do a scant rather than too big. So all the way down, nice and slowly. No need to rush. That's so tight, that thread. I don't know why. Perhaps I'm coming to the end of the bobbin. Oh, we got Michelle joined us from YouTube, and Michelle is from North Australia. It's the middle of the night and 12 degrees. Well, it's your winter, isn't it, Michelle? But the middle of the night? Why are you up in the middle of the night? Thank you, Jackie. Jackie has put the link on for Beatrice if anybody wants to get the pattern. So now I'm going to add the other little beach hut to that. So again, right sides together. Well, I hope you're all well, whichever part of the world you're in. Perhaps you're enjoying the tennis. It's semi-finals day, isn't it, for the men? So that's got to be exciting. I know my John is watching it. And has anybody here been to Wimbledon? I think we've been a couple of times. There we are, that's our 3rd one. Oh, don't they look cute? Points aren't too bad either. So far so good. So now we need to put the bigger piece on the end. There. Let's do that. Yeah, it's quite nice going to Wimbledon. Adrian and her hubby went last week. And William had his tea round here. Yeah, I think he was a little worried that he was going to have to stay. He likes being at home. He doesn't like being at Grandma's. He much prefers his own bed. In fact, he told me so. I do like my own bed, Grandma. Yes, well, I know, William, so that's fine. Just need to trim that one at the bottom there. There's our 3 little houses. Now, of course, you could add to this. You can add little door handles. You could put buttons on there for door handles. You could do more machining if you want to. We're going to stitch around the edge of just that middle one today. In the original one I'd used my Sashiko machine, and I was going to today, except I forgot to thread it up because it needs a new bobbin. So so I need to do that. Like, well, I won't do it today now. So now we've got our little beach huts all in a row. I'm just going to give them a press, and you'll see that the seams will only go, well, they'll only want to go one way, and that's away from all of those seams there. It just really wants to go out, away from it, and just give them a nice press. Nice press. And to be honest, there's nothing quite nicer than your big domestic, your machine, rather than this little one here, but we work with what we've got. Just going to trim the edge of that there. Lovely. I think I was a bit overzealous with my cutting. Right, so the next stage is to put the top and bottom on. So this is the top there, and this is the bottom there. Okay, so we're going to put the bottom there, top and bottom on, so it's right sides together. Well, this linen, it doesn't matter, so we're going to do right sides together. So I'll pop a couple of pins in like that, and I won't bother doing that one just at the moment, but you can see that that top one's going to go on. Just need to shove it along a little bit, and then this one's going to go on there next. Nice and easy. Everything's nice and easy when you break it down, and it's all doable as well. For anybody thinking, oh gosh, that looks too difficult, it's patchwork, and I don't do patchwork. That's what the first thing perhaps somebody will say, and then the next thing they'll say, oh, that's too difficult for me. Well, maybe a little bit, but just get a little back stitch there just to hold that seam. Maybe, but why don't you give it a go? Now when you're coming along here, ideally you'll go, oh Michelle, sleep, that's why I'm up. Oh, can't sleep. Can't sleep, that's why I'm up. Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle. Yes, ideally you're going to stitch from the other side, and then you're going to see where the points of your huts are, and that's where you stitch to. But I'm taking a risk because I forgot to do that. I'm good at telling you and then I don't take any notice. Okay, so let's just whiz along here. And all of this is going to be trimmed in a little while because we're going to have to use our template again to cut the right shape for our house, for our bag. I mean, I've got houses on the brain, haven't I? So, oh, come on, that's it. So there's the top. It's not bad. Just chopped a bit of a point off there, but that one's okay. I'll show you that one. And then I was just wondering, did we top stitch that edge? Just a sec. Let me have a look at the front picture. No, we didn't. We just pressed it. That's fine. So I'll do that in a second. So the next stage is to put the bottom on. So we'll pop that bottom on there like that. Okay. I know you can't see much now, but that's what we're doing. Just putting the bottom one on, then we'll give it another press. And then I'm just going to do a quick running stitch with some variegated thread around the middle house, and then we put the stabiliser on. So how old is your machine? Oh, it's Millie. How old is your oldest machine? I think this is possibly the oldest one that I have. Oh no, my 221 is my oldest. I kind of don't count that for whatever reason. It could be Mr. Amazon, might be a parcel for me. I'm always hopeful. So there we are, there's our front piece done. So we just need to give it a press, so we'll do that. Yes, what is your oldest machine that you use perhaps? Or not use, but maybe you just have it in your collection of, you know, gadgets and gizmos. Sewing machines. and yeah, you just like having it beside you, and or having it on your shelf, or maybe it's in one of your cabinets somewhere. Or we are very precious about our machines, aren't we? Yeah, so my 221 is my oldest, but and I think this 1008 is probably the next oldest. And then I've got a really old Memory Craft. That's a Janome, isn't it? So got a really old one. Has embroidery, but it has it on like discs that I forget how to use it now. Okay, so I'm just going to do a running stitch around one of the beach huts. Oh, got a nice bit of thread already. And in the pattern, when you look at the pattern, it's around all three, but we haven't got time for me to sit there and do all three. So I'm just going to do the middle one. So I've got 3 strands of a variegated embroidery thread. I was using this the other night in my online sewing group. It's an anchor. It's called Stranded Multicolour, and the number I've got is 01360. So I don't know if that's the one, but I quite like it because it's very very pretty, isn't it? So a little knot in the end there. Louise says, my dog has just heard your doorbell. It sounds like the same as mine. She thinks I've got a delivery now and has belted into the front garden as all the delivery people will give her a treat, I'm assuming that says. Oh. So if we look at the pattern, or you perhaps you'll have the pattern in front of you, we're just literally going around the rectangle. So I'll just get my needle in there. And we're just going to do a little running stitch. And like I say, you can go round all 3, or just do the one like me. So now I'm screwing it up. And of course, because we press the seams to one side, you've got quite a few layers to get through. So, but it won't take long. We can have a chat while we're doing it. Yeah, so old machines. Anne says, I learnt to sew on an old treadle with her gran. Oh my gosh. They were so lovely, our old grans, weren't we? Michelle says she's got a Janome Combi 10, purchased in 1976. That was the hottest year, wasn't it, summer-wise? Well, mind you, we might have beaten it last year, but an old Janome. Janomes are really good make, aren't they? Yeah. Let's have a look. So has anybody else said what old machine they've got? Oh, Mary says, my oldest is my mum's Singer. It must be over 80 years old. Well, my 221 is 1954. So that's coming up to 80 years old, isn't it? The great thing about this variegated thread is that you stitch for ages. Like I've just stitched like blue, can you see? And then all of a sudden we're going to get to yellow, and by the time we get to a really pretty colour, we will have finished. Yeah, I know it. Still, there we are. So I hope you don't mind me indulging in a little bit of hand stitching. It's a little bit tough because of all the seams underneath here, but we'll just carry on. You see, if I put it in under my Sashiko machine, that would be fine. It would love it. Well, when I say that, my Sashiko machine is such a temperamental thing. Somebody, I got a review on my YouTube from before Mum died, so we're looking at least 4 or 5 years ago, and somebody messaged me, and it was literally, help. I need some help. My machine is not working, it's got stuck, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's normal. They are so naughty. They won't go off the fabric. So for instance, you know when you're stitching and your machine just slightly goes off the fabric, maybe at the end of a seam. Well, if you do that with the Sashiko machine, oh my gosh, it throws such a tantrum. You end up having to, almost take it apart. Oh, and there's just one button that controls the sort of electric side of it, really, I suppose. It's got a stitch length and width gauge, which is fun. But yeah, if this one button doesn't behave itself, you've really had it. The other day it wouldn't play nicely with me. Can I just say, I love my machine and I've done tons with it. It's just, I love its quirkiness, I suppose. It challenges me every time I use it. And for the money, you'd think it would be a dream, but oh gosh, it's not. But the other day, well, it just wasn't having any of it. And I tried everything to try and get the wretched machine to work. And it wasn't until I'd literally taken it apart. I had taken all the bobbin out, all the workings underneath. I'd oiled it. I didn't know if I had to oil it or not, but it got oiled, it got cleaned, you name it, it got it. And then it was only when I started to put it together that I realised I'd left the bobbin winder switched to the on position, if you like. And of course that had locked the whole machine up. Of course it would. What a twit. So, because I'd said John had come up, he said, what on earth are you doing? I said, oh, look at this pink. I said, I've had to take my Sashiko machine apart. It's broken. I said, just honestly, I don't know why I bother. I just want to use it for one thing. It just doesn't want to play. And then I switched this switch and it's perfectly fine. Of course it was. It's the owner who's not perfectly fine. Yeah, perfectly fine after that. And I did the stitching. I can't remember what I did with it. Oh, I know, I made a needle case for Jan. And, oh, that looks really pretty. Let me just bring it up, show you. Doesn't that look pretty? So it would, I haven't got time. Yeah, so there we are. How lovely. Yeah, so I really thoroughly enjoyed using it then, because it was behaving. I had a full bobbin, because obviously I'd changed the bobbin because it wasn't behaving. And and then of course it was perfectly fine. Of course it was. Silly thing. Right, okay, so we're going to put the H250 on the back of this now. User error, Abigail. Of course it's user error. My goodness me. Of course it's user error. Right, I'm just going to line this up a bit. You can see I've got a nice scrap. Now I do tell you to cut your H250 the same as the template, but of course you can do it this way. You can just literally put it on. Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. So I'm just going to cut this to size. Now I've glued a little bit of it down. I like to glue from the back. But I don't want the glue all over my nice ironing mat. Although I must admit it's seen a lot worse than a little bit of heat and bond. Not heat and bond. H250. Right. So quickly whiz that along. Now the great thing about this sort of thing, the H250, is that it's always better to iron it and give it a really good iron and then leave it for a while to settle, for the heat, for it to cool off basically. Because if we lift this up, which of course we're going to while it's hot, it can put a crinkle in your work and you won't be able to get that crinkle out. Not very easily anyway. But we will just do what we can do. And hopefully that'll be nice and adhered. So lift it over. Oh, doesn't that look gorgeous? Beautiful. Lynn says she loves this pattern. Lynn, so do I. So do I. And quite honestly, it's crazy price as well. So now we've made our piece, we need our pattern. And obviously our pattern goes right over the top, but you want to make sure that you're getting all of the beach huts in. So you just want to make sure you've got it fairly, I mean, to be honest, it might be better to fold it in half, just to make sure you want those beech huts in the middle. And I want more, because although you see I've got this narrow bit here, this long bit here, I'm probably more inclined to have it down here, because all of this bit here is going to be tucked underneath. So I think I'm happy with it there, and as long as my beech huts are in the middle, which they are, then I'm good to go. So I've got some spray adhesive on the back of my template, so that's kind of holding on a bit. But what I'm going to do is use my rotary cutter and ruler, so I've got the most perfect cut. So let's see if we can find a ruler. Got one here somewhere. Okay. So excuse me while I stand up and to cut this. It's so much easier. And do make sure that, because this is the bottom, this wider bit is the bottom, so do make sure you've got your beech huts going the right way, yeah? Because you'd be very fed up cutting this and realising you've got it on upside down. That would be, you know, I'd be so fed up about that. But it's easily done, and I've probably done it in the past, more than likely. But using the rotary cutter and the ruler, we get a lovely, lovely finish. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. So, whoops. So let us cut out our corners. So don't forget, we've got the H250 on the back, so it's nice and stabilised now. If you want to use wadding, by all means, so maybe an 80-20 wadding, maybe you can use, is it the H640, which is a more sort of, it's like a polyester from Veesleen, like a softer iron-on wadding. You could use that, H630. Gosh, there's so many out there, nothing's wrong. Hi Dawn. My absolute favourite, Beatrice. Oh, I thought you were going to say my absolute favourite, Lizzy. Oh, no. There we are. So there is our beech hut cut out. So I'm just going to get my pattern up to date, which it is, which is super. Okay, so we can actually put that to one side now, because our next task is to do our zip. Now, do we say, well, in fact, I don't need it as long as that, do I? So what I'm going to do is just, I'll cut it down, but I think obviously we'll cut it down again. It probably says in the instructions, would it be easier just to find out, Lizzy? Yes, it would. That's it. Oh, 6.75. Let's do it properly. So 6.75 is there. So let's cut that. Lovely. Move that along a bit. Okay. Okay, so with the zip tab, sometimes we make our zip tabs really big. And then cut them down. With this pattern, we actually kind of cut them to size, because the width of a zip is about, well, on a number 3 certainly it's an inch. So we've cut these to size, okay, and they get stitched into the seams anyway, so that's all fine. So all you're going to do is put one tab underneath and one tab over the top. If you want to, pop a clip in just to hold it. The main problem that you'll have is making sure that these ends stay together, and if you want to, you could put a little stitch in. I mean, if we've got this embroidery thread handy, we can do that. So let's just line up our zippage. Obviously don't go any further than 1/4 inch, and you're just literally doing a couple of little stitches just to secure those teeth together. So that was handy that I had that thread just there on my desk. Usually I don't. So that's really all you want. Just a couple of little stitches there. Okay. So we're putting one underneath, so right side facing up. One over the top. Just make sure those teeth are together. right side facing down, and get a clip and clip them together. There we go. So we're just going to literally stitch across those ends there just to secure those tabs. So we'll do that now. So I'll have to look back about people's oldest machines. Oh, Anita says, I put my bobbin in my dookie and couldn't understand why it wouldn't sew. Ian came in and said, have you got the bobbin in the right way? Looked at him, took the bobbin out, and Ian was right. Well, sometimes we just don't think, do we? Because we're always so busy. And of course some bobbins don't fit some machines, so you have to get special bobbins. I mean, actually the dookie is a bit naughty like that. It likes its own bobbins. And Benina as well, of course, they like their own bobbins. You can't just buy standard bobbins, unfortunately. So yeah, so we stitched along there. So now we'll stitch along here. So just a 1/4 inch. We don't need to top stitch, but you can if you want to. So when you flip these back, you might want to top stitch just a neat, and I'm not going to bother. Hold on, let's cut that end. So then all you're going to do is push those back and give them an iron. So they look gorgeous, 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 like that. Okay. And then we're coming up to the construction of the bag now. So I mean, really, that's quite the easy bit in my book. I don't know about you guys. So let's give it a little press. Get those tabs over beautifully. Does make a difference pressing. I hope you all press between little sewing jobs. Let's just make sure that's okay, and that one's okay. So if you've used different colours for your roofs, like me, I've used that one for my zip tabs, but you could use any of them. You could use the blue, couldn't you? Doesn't matter. It's all going to work beautifully. Okay, so now we're going to pop the zip in. So let me just make sure that I'm following the instructions. Yeah, so we can take our front bit. Now you'll find that this is too long for that, and that's absolutely fine. So it's the right side of the zip with a little zip slider is going on to the right side of your pouch. Now of course you could put your quilter's tape on there just to make sure that that sits in the right place, but also just want to make sure that your overhang is equal both ends. So we'll just put a clip in there just to hold it. There we go, just the one for the moment will be fine. And then we can put one of our linings over the top. So there's one of our linings. Seaside base, look, 2 little mermaids, seahorse, crab, anchor. It's nice, isn't it? This one goes over the top. Okay, so again, just clip it, make sure it's all sitting in the right place, make sure those side seams are sitting there nicely, and if you want to check, just check. So fold it out and you'll know that it's right if you've got the zip. Let's get this so it's folded properly for you. So you've got the zip facing you just here. The zip teeth is showing, and the right side of your bag there. Okay, so you know you're right if you can see that. Okay, so I'll leave that like that for the moment. So now we're going to stitch it in. Now if you have got a zipper foot, which even with this little old machine I have got a zipper foot, I haven't got many feet for it actually, not many at all, maybe 4. I suppose I could get more, I'm not bothered though, because I actually bought it for free motion embroidery. Now what we want to do is move the needle. Now I have to move my zigzag foot for that. I also want to make sure that that's going to pass okay, which it does. Okay, so what we need to do is we're going to stitch all through those layers together, but I'm going to stitch from this side because I'll be able to feel the teeth, which are underneath there, against the side of my zipper foot. So if we line them up a little bit better, like that. So when I come down this side here, I'll be able to feel the teeth. I won't get so near. I quite like to see the zip actually. So we'll give it a go, see how this machine works. It's so close to the edge of that foot, so hopefully I'm not going to break the needle. Oh, nearly did a zigzag. That's not what I want to do, is it? Oh, now this is a test. This is a test. Just bear with. Oh, do I move this? Maybe. I'm not sure. Oh, what's that one? Is it that one? No. That one? No. No, not that one. Bear with caller. See if that's going to do the trick. I'm not sure about that actually. Just give it a little. It's going backwards. That's not so good, is it? Oh, that's because it's on. Oh, it's exciting, isn't it? I don't like the look of that. Bear with. No, that's not the one. That's the one. Alright. Oh. Excuse me while I fiddle with my machine. Oh dear, love it when a plan comes together. No, that's not moving at all, so why is that? Oh, that's clever. Okay, oh, got it now, right. But I don't want to do that. What do I need to do? It's got to be geared for a buttonhole, hasn't it? It's got to be geared for a buttonhole. I mean a zipper foot. Oh, I see. Right, I think we've got it, guys. I think we're okay. I think we're on a rocking and a rolling. Let's try that again. Yeah, we're good. We're good to go. I have never stitched a zip in with this this machine. You can tell, can't you? Oh, lovely. Good job. Good job. So let's turn the stitch length up a bit. See, we've all learnt something today. How to get your 1008 to stitch a zip in. Not that you need to know. Just turn all the dials until it does what you want it to do. I love it. I love it. Right, so we are now stitching the front and the lining together. Oh Mary, I've never sewn a zip in with this machine before, so yes, very exciting. So there's one half. I didn't get very close, but that's fine. So there's one half. We'll top stitch in a second, and now we're going to do the other. We're going to put the other half on. Yeah, so it's exactly the same procedure, but what I would do, just to make sure that you don't catch that lining until we go to top stitch, I would pin all the layers together, so your lining and your outer, just to keep them all in check. Okay, just to keep them all in check. So we're going to do right side of the zip, right side of our fabric and down, and just make sure that all of your fabric is sitting on top of each other beautifully. So I'll just clip that, flip it over, and we're putting the right side of our lining facing down. So when we lift this up, our lining is right sides together, okay? And then that way you can't go wrong. And once again, we're going to stitch from the back, or from this side, because then my machine can feel for my zipper teeth here. Make sure everything is lined up and all looking beautiful, and we'll stitch that on. Now the thing is, can I get it back to regular stitching again? Who knows? I might just stitch the whole thing now with a zipper foot. I do love this machine though, but like I say, I only bought it for doing free motion with. Because a lot of textile artists use the 1008 because the free motion is just divine on it. It loves it. Possibly because it's a mechanical machine and there isn't much, to go wrong really. So I'm just moving my slider out of the way. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is. It's just that I know that a lot of textile artists do love the 1008. It's a beautiful machine. There we go. Cool. That's still a bit tight. Perhaps I need to loosen my tension off a bit. Okay. So now you can see, I think my zip has moved a little bit, but we've got both of our halves on. So what we will do is we'll give this a little press. I'll take my pin out there, and we'll just make sure that our lovely piece is actually top stitched beautifully. So open it up. I'm going to leave that zipper open because obviously I'll need it to be open shortly. See, I'm a little bit out here to there, but I don't mind. I'll live with it, just. The other thing is, of course, if you've got a walking foot and you can manage to put the zip on with a walking foot, then please do, because it makes a huge difference to all the layers being grabbed. So when we press this side, just make sure that all of your layers sit well here, and then bring it up. That way when you come to stitch, top stitch, all of these layers will be sitting in the right place, and you'll get the most amazing finish to your pouch. And that's when it starts to look professional and beautiful. So we're going to top stitch on this side so we can see it. I think I did that on the original one, but it's nice to do it anyway. And if you wanted to, if you're pedantic like me, you can actually trim this up so it's level with that. But just so we don't have to keep concentrating on it, I will just snip all that away anyway. Make it nice and neat. I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to put it under the machine now, and that's it. And I'm just going to top stitch along there. I'm going to do that with my zipper foot on, but ideally, well, I could swap the feet over, because I'm going to say ideally you want your regular foot on there. It sits much better, much better than a zipper foot, unless you've got a zipper foot that's got a wide bottom. This machine, the Bonina, well, this particular foot is not. Look, it's very narrow. They're not my favourite because they don't grab the feed dogs. There's not enough there for it to shift the fabric along, in my opinion. Okay, in my opinion. So I wonder if I'm going to. That's it. I think I'm back to normal now. Oh, gosh, that was a moment. So of course you could change the colour of your thread. You could put your stitch length to 3, so it's a nice decent top stitch. Do it nice and close. When you come up to your zip slider, you just want to make sure that that's out of the way, especially if you're using your regular foot now. And just carry on. And all I'm going to do is hop across and then come up the other side. So I hope you've had a nice hour. We've just got to stitch the rest of the body together, which will just take just a moment really. yeah, I hope you've had a nice hour with me. And of course, you know, this design is pretty universal in the way it's been put together, you know, the construction of just the basic pouch. So you can always use this as your guide for other things that you create. Okay, so we didn't hop across there, did we? Okay, so just snip that bit there. So now that's given us that lovely bit of top stitching, can you see? Really nice and neat. So now all we're going to do is to put our body together. Open the zip. We're going to put our body together, so our two outside pieces are going to come together. Okay, and you can pin it obviously, and then our lining pieces come together like that. So let's have a quick look on the overhead as to how that looks. Sue says it's been a lovely hour. Well, thank you, Sue. Where were you again? Somewhere nice, I just remembered. Oh no, you were making Black Forest Gatto. For goodness sake, Black Forest Gatto. Well, I have to say, we went to my favourite place, La Hogue, for lunch. And I did bring a piece of Victoria sponge home with me. And a cheese scone for later. And we always have half each. We can never eat a whole piece of anything, John and I. We're pretty lightweights when it comes to scoffing cakes. Right, so the zip is open. Check, double check. Yeah. Obviously, we want to leave a turning gap in the lining. So, I mean, you could leave a turning gap there if you want to, or you can leave it here, which I will. We're going to stitch all the way around except the corners. Well, we're going to box the corners up. And that would be lovely, won't it? That'd be a nice little make. Now, before I go, if you share this live, you don't have to do it now. You can do it afterwards. It comes up in my stats that you shared it, and those people that have shared it will be in for a chance of winning this pouch. So you'll not only seen it made, but you'll also perhaps have it in your possession. So if you share this video, this live, you'll be put into a hat, if you like, to have the chance of winning this pouch. So let's just making sure that my machine will go over this little bit there. So yeah, so please share and share the love. That'd be lovely. Really appreciate it. Now I've done a little back stitch only because we're going to open that seam up a little bit. We're going to put a little pressure on that seam to turn it through, to box the corners. So I have back stitched. And I'm just jumping across to the next side. And because of the shape of it, it ends up being a proper square pouch rather than a pouch where the sides come in. Have you seen what those look like? And I always think that's, you know, a nice shaped pattern is a little bit nicer, but that's my opinion. It's purely my opinion. Just making sure that's going over. Yeah, and if you wanted the pattern, then I think Jackie has put the link for the pattern. That would be nice, thank you very much. And that's on Facebook, obviously. On YouTube, if you just go to my website, and I've put the words in there to say this, just go to my website and search Beatrice and you'll find it. Okay, oh, now we need to stitch the box the corners. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Debbie. Okay, so all we need to do now is box these corners. So I'm just snipping my jump threads. So all you need to do is just open up these corners, get your finger in there and just squidge them together, and obviously you can nest these seams if you want to, which distributes the fabric and the bulk. So we're just squidging that together. When I do the next one I'll show you. So you want to turn your stitch length down. I just realised it's still on 3. Nest those corners. Trim all these threads off. I'll have to stitch the turning gap now, won't I, if I'm giving it away. Now it will get a little bit crunkled because we're manoeuvring it around. So just pop your finger in the hole, squidge those pieces together, this outer corners, bring your seams together, and however it went on this end, whichever way it went on this end, so for me it went from right over to the left. You see that? So I must do the same on the other side. And then there we go. So give that a little snip and a trim. Okay, so we've done the 2, look, you can see it needs another press now. So we've done the 2 there, now we need to do the lining. So just bring those outer corners out. And because it's lining, it's lovely and soft. Little back stitch, because it's the lining that takes the brunt of all the things you put in it. So give that a trim. All these threads, I can't decide if it's threads from the machine or threads from the fabric. I think it's a little bit fray, this fabric, but it is beautiful. She does a cracking job, does that Cassandra? Yes, and like I say, it's her husband that does the Doughty's quilt shows around, or the fabric shows around Malloway. They were here in June. Okay. Just trim all my threads. You do get used to having a thread cutter when you've got a fancy machine. Oh dear. Jerry says, do we share to public or to a feed? Well, no, you just share to your own personal Facebook page, Jerry. So, and public, obviously, unless you've got thousands and thousands of friends, then please share to the public. Michelle says she's had a lovely time too, and now she's going to go to sleep because obviously it's like, I don't know, 3 in the morning, perhaps even earlier than that. Just need to trim those threads there. Do that while I see them. Because Michelle is in Australia. I will stitch the turning gap, I promise. Now because I'm using linen and because we've used H250, obviously it needs now a lovely, lovely press. Now because the way we stitch this, if you get your thumb in those corners, you should end up with quite a nice squared off pouch. So again, just pop your finger in there, or your thumb, whatever's the strongest, and push those corners out. Push your... Look at that, that's not a bad bit of matching up there. Yeah, and there as well, absolute perfection, hurrah! And there we have our beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pouch. Just needs a little bit of an iron, it's a bit wrinkly. So let's give it a quick press. I think I turned my iron off, so it will be a quick press. So I don't think I'm making much difference. So what you've got is a linen pouch here with some Liberty fabrics, and don't worry, it's not, the iron is, it's hardly warm. A little bit of hand stitching, and I'll make a better job of that. I've got to turn the lining through again to stitch the turning gap. Anyway, there is our little pouch. Isn't that lovely? With our lovely Liberty on the end there. I'm going to poke those out a bit more actually, and that'll square it off. But it's lovely how, because it was shaped, the pattern was shaped, we end up with a square pouch or a rectangle pouch. We don't end up with one that looks like that, which is often the case. So there we are. I've taken up lots of your time today, but I hope you've enjoyed just sewing along with me, or just sitting here watching and listening and just, you know, having a relax for an hour. That's all we ask for, isn't it? And also we've learned how to use the sewing machine. At least I have. I'm not sure I can remember. Oh, actually I do remember. It's that middle dial there. Yeah, got it. Right, there we are. So I will give it a good press. I will also stitch up the turning gap. But if you share this, actually we're on Facebook when I'm saying share. YouTube, we can't, can we? Then I'll pick somebody from the shares in a couple of days' time, and I'll be sending that out to you after giving it a good press. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that we can all be sitting in the sunshine and outside our beach huts very shortly with a pina colada. That would be good. Okay, so have the lovely rest of your day. If you're watching Wimbledon, I hope the right man wins for you. I'm not going to be controversial in any way. And I will see you all again soon. So if you are in my Blue Beauty group for next week, we start stitching, well, I've got a pink version obviously, but we're starting stitching Blue Beauty on Tuesday for 4 consecutive nights at 8 p.m. In the Blue Beauty Facebook group, and you have to have bought a ticket from my website to be able to do that. If you're part of my members group, then we're on week 2 next week of Making Julia, which is this fabulous star quilt behind me. We're going to be doing quilting and binding on Thursday. It's not too late ever to join my membership online, and it's never too late to buy a ticket for Blue Beauty, which is on my website, lizzycurtis.com. And Jackie says, quite rightly too, if you have registered for Blue Beauty, should have called it something else, please join the Facebook group, because that's where the lives will be every night from Tuesday at 8 p.m. for an hour or so. A lot of cutting, a lot of stitching. It's going to be great. Yeah, so I'll see you then. Have a lovely rest of your weekend, and yeah, and stay safe and stay out of the rain.